So diving into the world of Qi, the Qi formula, Qi herbs, most prized Qi herbs. Now, where does it fit into the SuperFeast apothecary? Just want to make sure that you're really clear on the context of the herb, the herbs in here and the formula, the intention, like who it's appropriate for, who it's really appropriate for, who might just just like to get an understanding who and for those who might just be like it's not for right now. So basically, when it comes to Qi, we're looking at it not so much on the level of the universe is all made up of energy and it's all Qi. We're kind of like more of a localized version where in the context of the three treasures. Now, Jing, Qi, Shen. So a lot of you at this point would be aware of Jing. The Jing formula has become a staple in many of your lives. It's like it's the first of the treasures. It's the, in that analogy of our body being like a candle, wax of the candle's the Jing. It's our foundation, it's our potential, it's our genetic potential, it's our libido. When a lot of people are exhausted, so they start off with the Jing formula and Jing herbs because there is actual exhaustion, there's no will to be like get up and get moving. There's knee issues and lower back issues and like degeneration, there's premature aging and all those kinds of things going on. So you kind of got to start there, and then but once you've been on the Jing herbs for a while and you tweak your lifestyle a little bit, you got your sleep rocking and maybe you get your diet a little bit more appropriate for you, and you might find at that point Jing's not having that same effect. As Jing herbs aren't having the same effect. That's not always the case. You might just like the Jing in circulation, but there's less reliance on it, which is a really good thing because you've restored your Jing. The next progression can be to the flame, to the Qi. So Qi in the instance of a treasure is the animating force, it's the spark in the machine, right? So it's the potential for movement, it's the movement itself, it's the twinkle in your eye, it's what literally gets in there and brings life to the cells and to your organ systems, and it's very regulating energy. Now, what happens in the West is we don't have enough daily Qi, and so we're not really getting enough Qi from basically we're not moving our bodies in appropriate ways, we're not circulating our Qi, nourishing our organs through movement, we're not eating the right foods, or our spleen digestive system, to the spleen earth, isn't actually able to extract Qi from our foods, the gu Qi, and also from the air we're breathing. We're not actually able to extract that Kong Qi and therefore create the daily Qi to animate us. So what we have to do is draw on our Jing. So you go to the savings account that's there, it's like your superannuation you're drawing on now, and you're using that to get through the day, smashing coffees and all those kinds of things. But once you've sorted that, the Qi herbs, this is an interesting thing because the Jing herbs are really amazing for, and they'll stay in your diet because every now and then, maybe there's Jing or the Jing herbs, it's just your vibe. You got that constitution where your kidney water just needs it and loves it, and that's fine, but for some of you, you're like, I'm not getting that same level, I need to kind of move on somewhere else. For the majority of people, Qi is going to be, and for a lot of the Taoist initiates and just people who just really know their herbs, they really sit long term in Qi herbs being the staple in the diet. And that's because through the tonification of the spleen earth and the lung metal, you're actually able to better extract Qi from the food and the breath. Therefore, you're nourishing yourself with daily Qi. You're needing to draw less on your Jing, or you're able to utilize your Jing that you're needing in order to get through the day and through your life in more efficient ways. In a way, in that sense, you're saving Jing. You're not drawing on it, and so that's where Qis are really exciting. They're exciting herbs, and that's what I've found. I mean, at the moment, I've still absolutely love Jing herbs. I have them every now and then, but I don't kind of feel like as long as I'm being sustainable and responsible within how my diet's set up, but it just maybe just loses a little bit of relevance, and I can come back and forth. But this is where the Qi. How do you know it's really for you? It's more of a fatiguing that it happens if you kind of even if you're starting out, it's I'm not so exhausted. I'm just fatigued. It's more in my limbs. Your limbs might get a little bit tired and sore towards the end of the day, or it might be you become mentally fatigued. You're not exhausted. You're not tapped out by any means. You still have that willingness to keep on going forth, but you're just a bit slower and sloppier. You can feel you're not as animated. The spark and that organized electromagnetic force that is your Qi has just kind of dwindled a little bit, and you'll need to kind of sleep, recharge, and get at it again, right? And so that's where it's going to in that kind of instance, it's going to be appropriate, for you to be getting on the Qi herbs. If you're into that style of if your lifestyle's rocking, you kind of you're in more cultivation. If you're doing Yin yoga and Taoist yoga, and you're cultivating through Qigong, whatever you're through your movement practice, whether that's at the gym, lifting weights, or but you're in a cultivating kind of like energy, right? You're not leaking your Jing, and now you're cultivating chi within your organ systems, and like really, just like trying to get the most out of life, and prepare yourself for the long term. That's where the chi herbs are going to be really amazing. I mean, if you are exerting yourself in a muscular, in a muscular sense, chi is really amazing. Some of these herbs, like Vitatrachalotes alone and astragalus, are just super renowned in potentiating, our athletic capacity. Really great herbs. Jing herbs, of course, are as well. They're really famous, but I mean, like I've always had people on astragalus, and this is like if I've got athletes coming at me now, I've got like a lot of CrossFit athletes especially coming at me. I want to make sure, the Jing's not leaking, get their Jing rocking. But then I'm gonna, like, as long as I've got that there, chi is going to be like absolutely one of the primaries. It's like maybe if you're an athlete, like the cordyceps and chi combination is going to be like really great for you. Chi herbs are crazy immunological, so it fits into that area where, say, you're extracting, oh, hello wind. That's that wind element coming through, because we're about to talk about the lung metal and the breath, right? So if we're looking at extracting chi from our food and from our breath, and then that gets unified and transformed into then the yang aspect of our chi, which is surface subcutaneous Wei Chi, our protective chi. And so that has like the Vitatrachalotes, the turkey tail, the Gynostema, the astragalus especially, crazy immunological just in the compounds that are going on. But when you look at them kind of in a broader sense, they're really upping that Wei Chi. And so that surface immunity is it's one of the most important things when when there are like changes in seasons and changes in temperament. That's when a lot of the time when people are getting colds and getting flus, and their Wei Chi becomes a little bit weaker, right? So at that point, in that place, you're like, especially kind of going from like, in that autumn period, you want your Wei Chi rocking, and that's where the chi is going to become like a real good, immunological preparation, kind of like in like the herbal strategy for a lot of people. And just the fact, even if it's not going into the colder months when there's going to be an invasion of cold, which is important from a chi perspective as well, because chi herbs are circulatory herbs, and so if you're needing to up your circulation, blood follows chi. That's along with other practices and other things, changing lifestyles so that you actually are increasing circulation in other ways and through movement, massage, so on and so forth. But the chi herbs are going to be really useful. So yes, you can see how going into the colder months, like these circulatory herbs, it's not a hot blend, but it's a warming blend. It's balanced out, but it is a little bit warming. You can see how useful that's going to be. But at the same time, being a real nourishing spleen tonic, and the spleen earth element is between all seasons, and so it's really that center of the elemental wheel. And so having your spleen be be nourished through diet, through giving yourself space in a rest and digest place, so you can not only digest your food but digest life. It's going to ensure that you're not in a stressed place. So therefore you're going to be able to make the change from in a seasonal sense, in a temperate sense. We'll say hello to our little delivery truck. In a temperate sense, you're going to be able to make that change, and just in the vibe and the energetics of the season, you're going to be able to make that change. And so it's a nice blend at all periods of changing. If you feel that that you're changing season, chi could be really useful, especially if you've got a real empathetic kind of like even worrisome kind of like constitution where you're that earthy, spleeny energy. But speaking of digestion as well and spleen. Yes, chi tonics, digestive tonic. It's especially if you're doing cold foods, smoothie bowls, juices. If you're doing raw foods, and a vegan diet. But even if you're just someone who sometimes has a bit of a tough time digesting your food, you can like a bit of bloating, a bit uncomfortable, loose stool, especially. There might be a couple of things to it. You might need to work with a practitioner. Not saying this is going to help completely, but sometimes it can really be supportive. And that's why a lot of these herbs are used to spark up that digestive fire, that metabolic fire. So just beyond digestion, like just like assimilation and elimination. It's a really amazing tonic in that sense. But yeah, definitely put it in your smoothies, in your smoothie bowls. It's digestively really amazing. We've got Bals, behind the camera there was, they're saying that it was pretty useful for you, eh? Just like on that kind of, just like bit cold, eating a bit of cold food, weren't quite digesting it, getting it through. And so It works, guys, and that's why I'm really liking it. But you know, they're just like you can feel it's a real potentiating blend, and so you got to be willing to explore. You'll often get results with chi tonic herbs that you haven't experienced before because you haven't been in a cultivating kind of mindset. Especially if you've got a lifestyle that's like really lifestyle that's been really, you've really dialed it in, and you maybe changed your, you've changed your, might have changed your job and your flow and your mindset and all these kinds of things where. And you sleep, and you kind of, you're doing okay. It might not be perfect, but you're not really getting exhausted and leaking your Jing. And then you're in a cultivating, and sometimes it's hard to kind of really realize that, although we're still seeing things we need to work on, you can start, really thinking about the future and start like building some new things, new experiences within your body. And chi's a potentiator, chi's everything. You get that circulation going through your organs, through the elemental systems. I mean, emotionally, you're gonna have more capacity to work on your emotions, to move through energetic blockages within the middle jowl, the middle burners, and through the through various organs as well. It's not like going to come and shatter down chi blockages. You might, if you've got real big blockages, you might need to work with a prachy who can like tune in a little bit more, acupuncturist that can really tune in. But just general blockages, keeping things flowing, it's really useful. And so yeah, like on that emotional level, you need momentum in order to deal with your emotions, because quite often there's not real like emotional dysfunction from a Taoist perspective. It's just a blockage of chi, right? So that's a good one for you to consider. But of course that takes years. But you might as well start now building your chi, change your lifestyle, then start building your chi, so that from a herbal perspective, and then you can through lifestyle perspective as well, things we've discussed, those things, you can get it moving, get it rocking. So guys, enjoy the chi. I hope that brings a bit of context to where it would fit into your lifestyle in your apothecary. I've just got it here with hot water. It's the afternoon. I love having an afternoon chi. It really helps me. It's energizing. These are energizing tonics. It's not like a Red Bull kind of style, but if there's anything in the apothecary at SuperFeast that's going to give you some vitality, it is the chi tonics. Beware though, if your nervous system is really strung out, it will downregulate you. It's not a stimulant. You don't get to use the herbs to be like, I'm so screwed, I need energy. It might downregulate you, but in general, it's going to increase your chi and hopefully help you get after it a little bit with a little bit of vitality. So tune in. Any more questions? Love you all. Please let me know what you think of this Jing when you get it into your life.